Hey, ooh, I didn't take that image down. We'll get that up in just a bit. I thought I'd talk about some of these steel pennies because some people don't know about these steel pennies. Steel? What? I thought they were copper. No, wait, I thought they were zinc. 1943, the war is going on in Europe. They needed copper. Man, they needed lots of copper. Nowadays we got copper to spare. We make stuff like these, these rounds, roar dinosaurs and stuff. Uh, Copper plumbing. But back in the day, we're fighting the Nazis over here. We're fighting the rising sun over there. We needed a lot of artillery shells. And dude, a lot of them. I mean, millions and millions. Well, where do you come up with the copper? Geez, we're making pennies, and they used the copper instead for the coinage. They used it for the war effort. Uh, Had to be done, dude. They gave their all back then, and we do thank them for their service and keep the world a better place than it would have been otherwise. But the coins are made out of steel instead, and what they did to keep the steel from rusting, because where's my pokey stick here? To keep the steel from rusting, they coated them with zinc, right? Here's some rust appearing on this coin. This one's got kind of a substantial amount. This one's got just a little bit, little hints. Well, once you penetrate the zinc, iron is gonna rust. That's what you got here. And when they're new, dude, when they were new, they were beautiful things. Geez, I mean, just glorious things. They shined, looked like a dime. I got a dime here somewhere. Where'd that go? Here we go. Here's a shiny dime. Imagine it's 1943 and you got that in your change. There's some great coins back in the day. Well, once the steel's penetrated, they will tend to rust and go away over time. We take a close-up look at some of these, give you an idea what we're talking about. Where's the screen? There it is. Yeah, that one's seen better days for sure. You can tell it's a 43, but just barely. Let me fix the lighting on that, see if we can bring that out some. There it is. And this is, well, it happens. That's a 1943D. They made them at all three mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Oh, here's some people over in chat. I gotta say hi to them. I thought I'd do an impromptu coin class because I got some neat stuff to show you. Maybe you'll learn something. Let me get over here, see who's here. This is Sin Delicious, Coin Dragon, D. Reese. That's all we need. That's plenty. There's a couple more folks over here. Look, it's 3 o'clock in the morning right now. Okay. They weren't really meant to last a long time. They added the zinc to give them some life. But the novelty of them, a lot of them disappeared because they were so darn cool, when they're shiny blue-gray like this one. That was in pretty good shape. No perforations on that one. I got a whole bunch of these somewhere around here. I swear it. I haven't seen them in months. Yeah, these are the Nocturnes. All right, let's look at the back. Real pretty like. Da-da-da. Here it is after it's been soaked in the lake for a few months. Okay, watch this. I got a thing to show. I'm gonna go home. Right, then I get this. Okay, the 1943 steel cents, PDNS. This is a zinc-coated steel. It was pressed into service in 1943 to alleviate copper demand for artillery and munitions casings for the war effort. The planches were produced, you ready for this? A lot of folks won't know this. They were done in two sizes. Initially, they were 2.689 grams, and then the heavier was produced in 2.754 grams later on in the year. So you get a tolerance of 0.13 for whatever size it is. But, well, the difference between the two weights, the heavy and the small, is only 0.065. So they actually overlap when you add in that tolerance. So it kind of makes it darn near impossible to decide, do you have a heavy one or a light one? Let me scroll this up and show you what I'm talking about. Do I have a pointer here? Here's a pointer. Well, the pointer didn't make it. Oh, wait. No, pointer's below. I can bring... hold on. Steve, bring that down. Bring the pointer up. See, all this stuff is in layers. There's the pointer. Okay, so move that. Oh, no, grab the pointer. We're having technical difficulties. It happens. There's my pointer. So you get the low one at 689, the high one at 754. The difference between the two is 65065, which is half of the tolerance. So you figure if I add and subtract the tolerance from the weight, I'm going to have a minimum and maximum size for what should be the small size planchet, and a maximum and minimum size for what should be the large size. But look, they overlap here. The maximum small is more than the minimum large. How are you going to do this? Well, a lot of times they're real close. So what we got to do now is pull up the scale and let's see if we can actually figure, is it a large or a small? Okay, now I got to hide this. I got to hide this, and we go back to here. Let's get this out of the way. There's Blues Coins. What are you doing up this time of day? All right, if you're ever going to use your scale, make sure there's nothing bothering it, nothing like the wires from the mouse, right? Have it on a flat surface, because if you're tilted, you're going to get a false reading. All right, let's turn it on, make sure we got 0. Can we see it? There, we can see that. Okay. And we can weigh these things up, and let's see what we can come up with. That Rusty Jones here, let's, oh, and set them on gently. 2.72, well, that's a little lighter than the heavy side at 2.754. So that could be either, couldn't it? And here's one with a little bit of rust. 2.8178. Well, that's a little heavier, just a little than the regular heavy size, but it's still within the tolerance for the small size. Huh. We can't really tell that one for sure. All right. Well, you know, these things are probably good for a few cents for sure. People sell these rolls for, you know, 10, 12, 15 bucks. 2.75, that's just about right on. Okay, it's close enough for government work, I suppose. You got some better condition pieces that'll be, you know, good for a buck or so. I got one here. It's probably good for a buck. Let me look at. Oh, let's see. Yeah, you got one without a whole lot of rust. Say one of these two up top. They're probably good for a buck. You know, PDS. Why not? But something like this one, these go for 8, 10, 12 bucks pretty easily. And if you have them with, I mean, no blemishes, none. That means none, right? They can go upwards of $20. Real easy. And the top specimens, yeah, they'll command a substantial premium when they're certified MS66, 67. But the population starts dropping pretty darn rapidly. But I got a bunch of these around for 8 and 10 for P's and D's, but I don't know where the hell they went. They went away. So I thought I'd weigh some up and see if we can find a light one and a heavy one. Rust never sleeps. You kidding? I could be rust. 285.83. Let's look at that other picture again. Where'd that go? Here? There. 285 is above the maximum for the small size, so this would be a heavy planchet. There, we found one that is probably going to be a heavy planchet. I mean, I've got to have the P, the D, and the S in small and light. I need 6 different wheat pennies just for this date. Well, if you're really hardcore about it, yeah, that might be a keeper because that's a heavy. Yeah, it's pretty good shape too. Hardly any rust. All right, I'm going to pull it out. Have we got a flip here? All right, I'll just put it in the pile here. The heck with it. Now let's see if we can find a small one. Let's see. 2720. It's getting lighter. Okay. We need a really, really, really lightweight piece. 263. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Pull up that page again. 263. Well, okay, that could still fit in the tolerance of the high side. Okay, that's not good enough. It's kind of small, but not small enough. This is tough. It's probably a small planchet. Are you near an EM source? There's a computer like this big right here, right beside me. The fan spinning, making a little noise. Are we lagging? I'm going to have to call my congressman again. All right. You could spend all day doing this, really. You just need a lot of pennies. That's probably a large. 278. I think they must have made more large, or I got more large. Am I on live chat? No. I'm on live chat now. Let me press these buttons around here. Okay, that's paused. It says yellow. That's supposed to be mostly pretty good. They're busy right now. Darn politicians. Yeah, we're just going to keep on going. All right, 295. 295? Well, it's not supposed to be that big. What's the maximum possible size? Is 2884. Well, that's actually a thick planchet then. If it's 295. I'm going to take that off. Where's some nickels? All right. From time to time, check your scale. All right. See if it's really measuring right. And a great way, an easy way to do it is put a nickel on there, because these babies are 500, or they're supposed to be 500, and they have a tolerance similar, 0.13 plus or minus. Okay, so I'm in the ballpark. Let's try another nickel. No, 499. Okay. See, if you want to calibrate your scale, you have to use a known exact weight with a known tolerance, and that tolerance needs to be pretty small. Okay, so this is probably close enough is what we got. So we got this one. Comes in at 294. It's 295 a second ago. That's a pretty heavy planchet. Ooh, look, that is heavy. Kind of neat. I'm looking for a light one. 275, that's right on. 273. Yeah, you gotta wait for the thing to stop vibrating. 262. Wait a minute, what's the minimum size? 262 could still be the large size. I want to get below 2.62, so I know that it's probably going to be a small planchet. Oh man, this is hard because the tolerance between the two overlaps. 271. Come back. The best part about when they're rusty, you can touch them, and it just, people freak right out. What do you do? Screw it up? It's already rusted. 277. 279. These steel cents are just a cool thing. It's the only coin made out of steel in the U.S. And they need it for the wartime. 281. I got one more chance here. 278. So as far as I can tell, these are probably all large. Might be a couple that are a little lighter. That one's kind of funny having so much weight. Let's weigh it again. 2.95. That's way too big. It shouldn't be that big. How come it's that darn big? Now I got to look at it. Let's have a look. Screen? No. Scope? There. Which? That's not function. Hey. Look. Okay. That's crapped out. Okay, so much for looking at it. We can look at it over here. Let's see. It's the one on the top. Why is it so darn heavy? Why is it so far? What? This thing. Focus. That's it. Heavy. Well, it's a one-year issue. Now, they've got some neat stuff going on because it's a transition year, right? When you go from one metal to another, every now and then something sneaks in somewhere. D. Reese says he's got one at 3.1. Yep, it's got 1 gram of crud. It happens. I get bubblegum on them. I can't quite see this. There it is. That's just, yeah, that's got 1 gram of crud on it. I got so much crud on it. Well, there's your answer. It's got crud. It's doo-doo. Okay. Well, they had some neat things happen because when they started making the darn things, apparently there were a few copper planchets that got involved there somewhere. They kind of stepped in. Maybe somebody sweeping the floor, cleaning out a piece of equipment. They found a few coins, a few blanks, threw them in the hopper, and they got punched out. Maybe they're left in the hopper at the end of 1 year, start at 43, a couple snuck in. And so you got a what is a dozen or two of these copper 1943s. You got hundreds of thousands of fakes, hundreds of thousands of copper-plated pennies. Huh. How do you tell the difference? Well, one way to do it is put a magnet on those, because steel, of course, is a ferrous metal. It is magnetic, whereas copper is not. Copper will kind of interact with magnetic fields. You drop a magnet through a copper pipe, it's going to travel down slowly. Kind of a neat thing. Did you check for doubling? I would, but the camera doesn't want to respond all of a sudden. No, that camera is crapped out. I wonder why. Let me try deactivating it. Which one's that one? That's the scope. That's the scope. Yeah. No, that's a picture from like 20 minutes ago. Let me deactivate this for just one moment. I'll try reactivating it. I don't have it open anywhere else. Okay, so you have these copper 1943 sets. There, it's back. Now we can look how unfocused that is. So some copper 1943 cents, and they're not magnetic, and they get, dude, big money, right? Tens of thousands. I think the sale record is over $200,000. Yeah, look for those in your pocket change, right? Well, they pull them out and they're covered with rust. That's kind of a brown looking penny. Well, there's lots of tests you can do, but this is what happens. It's corrosion. Oxidization of the iron is what's going on. That's a darn shame. Eventually, most of these will be lost to time because you can't stop the rust, which is a darn shame. Now, check this out. In 1944, when they switched from zinc back to a copper planchet, and it wasn't really copper. Well, it was kind of copper. It wasn't the same recipe from 1944. It was not the French brass that contained tin and zinc. They had all these copper shells left over, melted them down, and added zinc. So they're only 5% zinc, 0% tin. And that went on for 3 years, 44, 45, and 46. In 47, they brought them back with 2% tin, and they ran that up until 1962. Then they took the tin out again. Oh, come on, give me a break. Well, anyway, some of these steel planchets, same darn thing. There's some left in the machine somewhere. Somebody's sweeping the floor, cleaning up, piece of equipment, and they found just a few examples. It's like 6 or something, or 9 or 12. These 1944 pennies that are on steel planchets, and they're worth a fortune. All right. Now, by doing this video, I'm going to get 100 people who are going to say, I've got a 43 copper. I'm just sure of it. Dude, one key diagnostic that you don't have a rare coin is when you have a bucket load of them. What you got here, 1943, rusted up. Now, the 43s are kind of neat because you have so many things going on with them. Besides just the rust, there are double dies, there are RPMs, there's the, of course, the transitional metal experience thing. DDRs, where's the screen? Here's the screen. And let's see, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, I'm going to take you over to the database. This is the database. Been working on this for a long time, me and Shay and CJ. 1943, you've got the normal design, right? And that comes in 2 weights, a low weight and a high weight. Kind of neat. Then you got some double dial verses. Right now, our listing goes down to 33 different ones. And there's a whole slew of them I'm not yet able to cross-reference from other attributors. Okay? Double die obverses, double die reverses. Over on the reverse, I've got 15 listed. And again, a whole slew of them I cannot cross-reference. Right? 43D, same thing. DDOs, DDRs, bunches of them. One key place to look for is the date. Look for a big fat 9. Look for a 4 that's a little bit shifted. And then, of course, because we have a mint mark, we have RPMs. And how many so far? We got how many do we have so far? 52, and a few more that I still have to cross-reference. That's a real treat, because I got to look at, Wexler, and compare what he has to what Copper Coins has, and compare that to what Konica has, to get all these cross. It's a bear. You get different dye markers. It looks like it's the same, but, well, one source shows some lines in Liberty as a marker. Another source shows some lines on the reverse. But boy, the mint mark looks awfully close, awfully exacting. So I'm having trouble cross-referencing some of them. That's no problem. It doesn't get a number if I can't cross-reference it. And that's what you got. It's literally probably, you know, where to go? Okay, probably 100 different varieties for 1943. They're also pretty well known for having cuds and, where's home over here? Here it is. There. And retained cuds on the reverse, which is a die crack that would extend from, you know, one part of the rim to another part of the rim. And sometimes it'll be a blob, but Jeff Shumore had one he found. It was a retained cud right around this area over here on the right. But boy, it's a great date to hunt, let me tell you. But it's a piece of history. It's a unique coin for the steel that was being made. Check the date. You're looking for a big leg on the 9, right? Or you're looking for an extra eyelid. Let's see if we can show that. I don't have one. Well, at least that's not it. Come on. There it is. That's a normal eyelid. All right. Look over here in the Liberty. Perfectly normal design otherwise. But geez, when they're in great shape, they're this brilliant blue steel gray. Blue steel gray, is that a color? I think Crayola has that color. Oh, let's see who else is here. I see Empyrean labels in. Saturday, 6:15. Good morning. It's oh, you're in Guam. Well, that would explain it. They're like 6 hours ahead of us, or behind us. I don't know. What 43 variety have you hunted? To tell you the truth, I haven't hunted many. I've gone through a few rolls. Haven't found many. But double dyes, I might have one around here with a big fat 9 on it. Right? I think it's more common to find the eyelid. I probably have not gone through these because these are a lot of these are a bit rusted. I don't know. I don't even know when these came in, but I got a bunch of them. And we can look around. Once you get to the rusty stage, they don't have much value. Back in the day, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you get a sack of wheat pennies for, you know, 75, 80, 100 bucks or whatever, and they'd be chock full of these steel pennies. There we go. And look at that mint mark real good. I got to look at that real good here. And they weren't bad. I mean, they were circulated. They had some wear on them. That looks pretty. I want to focus in on that bottom of that D because you got a bunch of RPMs. Yeah. I'll set that aside and look at it later. Well, back in the 80s, it was all the craze to take these rusted steel cents and, well, you can just replate them, man. You can electroplate them. It's like a shiny, brand new one. And I was taking steels, and I was getting, I don't know, $3 for a roll. But I had all these rusty ones I would separate it out. Right? And geez, I had a guy was giving me $2 a roll for those. So every roll I had, I must have had 40, 50 rolls of rusty steels. No fooling. I was pretty psyched because I was getting them for like, you know, $1 a roll. So geez, you know, that'll pay a light bill. And it turns out the guy I was selling them to, he was replating them and selling them off as brilliant. Oh, geez, come on, man. You're just ripping people off. These plated steels, you'll be able to tell because it's got this mirror finish. these are coated with zinc, and it's a different process than the modern electroplating, which will give them that shine. Another way to tell if it's been plated, you're going to have wear on these, right? You're going to have flat cheeks, flat jaws, bow tie, just like what you see here. Except it's shiny. It's brilliant metal. Well, you can't have that and have this brilliance and flat spots. That's a key indicator that's replated. Another one is well, they didn't always clean the darn things, and they got a lot of them. They've been replated, and they got bumps, right? There's a cat hair that's been replated. There's a toenail stuck to the coin with new zinc over it. Like, dude, that's just slobby workmanship. Come on. Let's see what we see here. That was in pretty decent shape, except for the rust. Now, if you get top-end quality coins, you want to check the darn rim, right? Now, here's a tip for you. When you get the really nice ones, when you get into the mint state grades, you want to check that rim, the whole darn thing. Why? Because if you got rust on the rim, the rust is going to grow. So in 30, 50, 80 years, that rust right here is going to become that, because that's how rust works. The surface layer of iron will oxidize just from the oxygen in the air. You've seen it. You put your rake away in the fall, you come back in the spring, and it's a little bit rusty. You rake your lawn all summer, you put it back away in the fall, you come back in the spring, it's a little more rusty. Right? But with iron, that rust layer breaks off. It falls away. It turns to dust. You could probably rub this on your finger. Let's try that one. Let's get a really scuzzy one. Where'd that one go? Let's get this out of the way. See how clean my finger is? See how rusty that penny is? I'm going to moisten my finger with some moistness. Okay, let's rub that. Because iron, that rust layer falls off. It erodes. Right? It exfoliates, I think is the term. There, that's a little bit rusty. Oh, and what that does is expose a fresh surface of iron, which will then rust. So iron creeps. Copper is different. When it oxidizes, it forms a patina across the surface, right? And you see that on the green roofs. Kind of neat. And it protects it from further corrosion, from further oxidization. Kind of a neat thing. Let me catch up on chat. Stop cleaning. It was rusted. I can clean that. I lost my. Let's set up. I gotta set the studio back up so we can see it. There was already goner, man. There. No rust. Rust. Okay. But if you get into the high-end coins, check the edge, because you don't want something that's going to just rust away. But properly stored, properly kept, and with an unperforated zinc coating, yeah, they'll keep a considerable period. PayPal says, Blues, can you put your PayPal in chat or on screen display when you have time? Yeah, just do what Blues did and type !PayPal, and it'll pop right up. Or type !email, and it'll give you my email address like Cindy just put. Or try !fart. That's one of Cindy's favorite things. Yep. Now these things, you can get these things for, a nickel a piece. They'll be wore out. They'll be something like this. They might have a little bit of rust, maybe a whole lot of rust. And you can pick these things up for pretty darn cheap. You can get a roll of them for $10. What are you looking at? 20 cents a piece there? But you really should, bitch if you're getting rusty ones when you're paying $10 a roll or more. Seriously. But at Halloween, I know several people who put these together, and they got the, their little flips and stuff, and they get them out, and they make these little, wait. There. they'll put it together with their little insert, right? So they got their name and channel stuff, or just leave that part off and explain, you know, this is a steel set from the war and stuff. Kind of neat. And they give them away at Halloween. I mean, I give away stuff like corn chowder, and they just don't appreciate it. Those darn kids. I hate kids. So this is not a kid-friendly channel. They made us mark that over on YouTube. Darn kids, they keep screwing everything up. But you get a decent one in, you know, better grade VF to XF or better, and they're going to be good for $1. The rusty ones, not so much. It's when you get into the uncirculated, the ones that have been stored beautifully and preciously. That's when they start getting into, you know, the $5 to $10 range, and the MS64, 65, they get into the $20 range. Kind of nice. You can find these sometimes in pocket change. They're probably going to be rusty. Right? They're not going to be worth 20, 30, 40, $100 in pocket change when they're rusty. But they're still good as a novelty because the kids oftentimes have never heard of such a thing. What? They made pennies out of freaking steel? Are you kidding me? Yeah, man. Here's one. And just that one coin, even if it's a little rusty, can be enough to, you know, draw somebody into the hobby. There's old people that don't know about these. I showed one of my grandmother one time. She said, "Oh, they did that during the war. You never told me." Huh. Sealed cans with no label is the best. Like running the dice. You don't know if it's beans or cat food. What are you talking about? MREs? Could be meat. Could be mung. You never do know. Okay. Well, if you want a full set of Lincolns, how far do you go? Do you just get one? You get a 1943. Hey, that's pretty good. Do you get all 3 mint marks, P, D, and S? Well, that'd be a pretty good next level. Do you take it the step further and make sure you got one that's a small weight and one that's a large weight? Because now you need 6 for a full set. Do you collect one of each of the, you know, one DDO, one DDR, one RPM for each date? Because they're out there. But now what you need, your requirements just keep on growing and growing. Well, I'd suggest at least get the P, D, and S. And try to get them in better shape with no rust. And if you can, get some of those shiners. Because they're real. Dude, they're gorgeous when they're like that. And then you can add depth to your collection later. Right? When you get a scale. Yeah, weigh them up. See, you never know. They weigh those 82s left and right. Well, if they know about these, they'll probably weigh these up and then pull it out. The weight does not offer a premium. Right? If it's a heavyweight or a lightweight, there's really no discrepancy because there's such an overlap, right? They overlap 50%. MS70, where'd that can go? Oh, there we go. I've got some MS Plus. We can try that on steel. Let's see what that does. Okay, we take that really rusted one. Oop, get out the way. Look at that. Just like a new dime. Lavender, check that out. What do we got for a brush? Nothing. I don't clean these things usually. I'll just use my finger. That'll be good. Yeah, that's kind of gross and nasty and filthy. Why is it doing this? Why is this happening? Why are we getting this coin, this rusted piece of junk, clean? Dude, this is MS Plus. It brings new life to old coins. You want the truth? It's a can of Lysol. And Lysol, one of its primary accelerants, solvents in there, is alcohol, which is a pretty good solvent, especially on rust. And this is going to happen. But this coin, dude, in a year from now, it's going to be right back the way it was. Yeah, I got a great set from Ken on his auction last year. You did? Good. I got more of those somewhere. Now I gotta wipe this up. All right, so even if you clean the rust off, right, you get some Rust-Oleum, right, dip them in there, that rust is going to return. It is unstoppable. There's no fighting that. Yeah, and you know, it's still kind of funky looking. What are you gonna do? Do you keep them? Do you throw them out? You know, tossing these in pocket change is kind of neat and send them back to the bank. They're not worth a whole lot when they're like this, but if it brings one collector into the hobby, it's worth every penny. Blame it on the alcohol. No, it's really, it's Lysol. That's why it smells so nice. Psst, I spread out. It's the smoke. You know, somebody comes in, I grab the can real quick and spray. There. Works out great. MS Plus, ask for it by name. Okay, let's see. I think he got the P and the D. I haven't gotten a roll of S's in a while. Even the CCs. Dude, don't clean your coins, ever. It's the prunes. Where are the prunes? B. Anthony pitted prunes. Fat free, cholesterol free. Works for you when you need it most. Ask for it by name. Ask for it by name. Man, there's nothing better than the day after eating a big bucket of prunes. Hey, remind me one day, I'll tell you about the prune juice story at my sister's house. That was a heck of a thing. Look, guys, I just wanted to get on here and talk about these steel pennies for a little while. I tend to carry these videos for an excessive period sometimes and get way into it. And I just thought I'd come on and do the short version. Man, we have a school at night. Night school. Yeah, you get detention automatically for showing up late. But I just wanted to talk about these and explain a couple of features and aspects about them, and you know, raise awareness of the darn things. Maybe people will collect them more. There it is. So, guys, thank you for coming in at 3:30 in the morning. But it's time for me to, well, I got some soup on. I'm gonna tear into that. So you stay groovy, okay? We'll see you later.